Hi everyone, STF Field Manager Jake Henry here, and today I wanted to talk about a really cool characteristic of our southern live oaks, or Quercus virginiana. So we are in late March right now, and you may be noticing we have a little bit of a fall in spring here. You can see lots of leaves on the ground, and that's from our southern live oaks. They actually dropped their leaves in the spring. Now, southern live oaks are a really interesting example of a tree that isn't actually evergreen, and it's not deciduous either. So evergreen tree species are, true to their name, green year-round, and they just slowly drop needles each year. So they don't lose them all at once, and they're never really truly dormant. Deciduous trees do drop their leaves, so they have a period of dormancy. A good example are, say, our sweet gums, and you can see some over here. So sweet gums will drop their leaves in the fall. Usually here that's pretty late, so maybe like December. And then you can see all that beautiful light green foliage coming in at the top. So they have a period of usually maybe a couple months of dormancy, and that dormant period varies on tree species. But deciduous trees have a period where they just have no leaves whatsoever, and then they start growing their new ones in the spring. Well, live oaks aren't really either. We like to call live oaks persistent. So what that means is that they actually lose all of their leaves each year. So they completely drop them all and then have a new flush of leaves. But they don't really have a dormant period. And I'm going to show you up here, they actually start growing those new leaves immediately. So let's take a closer look at this branch here. And where we're going to look is right here at this little node. And you can see these tiny little buds starting to grow. Those are actually the new leaves. You can see another great example here. So we've got this leaf that is turning brown. The tree has pulled nutrients back into the tree. It's trying to salvage what it can, so it drops those leaves. And then it's got a new one right here at this node that's going to push the old leaf off and start growing new. You can see another one there. And that is just such a cool characteristic. Not many trees have that, and it really creates for kind of an interesting spring here, especially on a windy day like today. You can see lots of leaves coming off these trees. So while we're talking about evergreen versus deciduous tree species, there are some other interesting things that you may notice around oak trees, especially here in the South. So there's a term called marcescens, and that describes trees that hang on to their leaves after they've turned brown. So leaves turn brown because the tree is pulling all the nutrients back into the tree, and it wants to reutilize as much as possible. And some trees just hang on to their leaves. So even in the winter, when their leaves really aren't doing much, they'll actually just kind of hang on to them. And in the spring, when they grow new leaves, the new leaves will sort of push the old ones off. So it's kind of what the live oaks do, except marcescens trees actually have a dormant period. So that can occur with some species of red oaks. You'll see them just sort of hang on to those leaves all winter long. So these southern live oaks are really busy this time of year. Not only are they producing new leaves and pulling in the nutrients from those old leaves, they're also putting out pollen, getting ready to produce seed. You can see a lot of their reproductive structures here on the tree. And so these trees are very busy this time of year. And one of the most important things that you can do to help trees this time of year is to water. They're going to be using lots and lots of water. We may get days that are unseasonably warm. We've had some temperatures in the mid-80s here in early March. And so one thing that you can do to really help your southern live oaks is to get them some water. Now, an older tree like this is probably doing all right. You don't need to worry too much about it, but especially those young ones that are doing all of these processes, turning over in the spring, and some days just get really hot. So you want to give them a little water just to help them out. But it's a really cool phenomenon that not many trees do here in the South, but because we have so many live oaks here in Savannah, it's almost like a second fall in spring. And it's just something really cool I wanted to talk about today, and if you notice it, that's why. It's because of these southern live oaks. So thank you again so much for watching, and stay tuned for more videos. Take care.